Welcome to the Worshipped Woman podcast. I am your host, kellykristin. I am a life and relationship coach, deep healing facilitator, and subconscious change expert. On this podcast, we will dive deep into personal growth, transformation, and relationships, releasing patterns of toxicity, codependency, and people-pleasing as we explore what it means to be the worshipped woman. If you are ready to heal, embody your worth, and raise your standards in life and love, you are in the right place. I am so happy to have you here. Now, let's get started. Hello, sisters. Welcome back to another episode of the Worshipped Woman podcast. Today, I am doing a very special AKA Ask Kelly Anything episode. If you have a question for me that you want me to answer, one, I want you to know that my DMs are always open, but I do want to give you sort of a clarification. I do not give advice in my DMs. I want to say this because I feel like I've been getting an uptick of people messaging me looking for advice, looking for the what should I do kind of thing. And I don't really answer that question. And the reason that I don't answer what should I do questions is because I can't tell you what to do in your life. And I also know that you only get the information that you are ready to get. Like, you get what you get when you get it. And I can tell you, oh, leave this person, go do this, but it's really just a waste of my time. So what I do instead is I send you resources. I send you a video. Hey, this is probably what's going on. Maybe you should check this out so that you can uncover it for yourself. I am a coach. I will help you to heal, but I am not an advice giver. Okay, so kind of different things there. And I just want to clarify that. But I do want to let you know, like, my DM is always open. If you have questions, if you're going through a situation, you can send me a message. I also have now on my website, on the podcast website, where you can submit your question right on there. If you go, I'll put it in the links in the show notes here. But you're actually able to submit a question right on my website if you need something answered. I like doing these because when somebody pops into my DM with a question and I know it's something that can help a lot more than just that one person, I like to record the episode because I know that oftentimes you might think that you're alone in dealing with this situation, but it's actually quite common and typically something that I have been asked in a variety of different ways. So today's question, and I always keep everybody anonymous because I know sometimes, these questions, you don't necessarily want your name or anything put on it. So it's always anonymous. But I had a trauma-related childhood. This has impacted my relationships by settling for people that are like my dad, who I love dearly, but has a problem with alcohol that he has had forever. I've also held space in my life for a man who showed me what I want in a relationship by visually doing these things for me. I met him 4 years ago, and he went off, traveled around. I messaged him 3 to 4 times a month, and we were both in relationships too. I have found that I put him on a pedestal as I think of him often and everything else in between. He is recently single and back in the hometown, which is near mine. I've been maintaining contact for over the last 4 years in the hope that he will just come home, be single, and pick me or choose me. And I'm aware of some abandonment issues from my childhood, so I'm trying to make sense as to why I am feeling so attached to him and can't seem to just let him go. I know this isn't healthy, and I've been pulling back from contacting him as I've now realized it's been 4 years, and it's not like I've put my life on hold, but I feel so attached to him. And I'm scared that maybe I have a belief that I won't get that again. Well, there's a lot of layers to this question. And I think what's really important is I want to start kind of at the end where you said, I'm scared that I won't get that again. And what exactly did you get from him except for a feeling that he could provide something to you that you were longing for, right? Because you were not in a relationship with him ever. He visually did things for you, but you were not in a relationship with him, so he really wasn't there for you in any capacity. And as basically you've been kind of stringing each other along for the past 4 years, but he's never made an effort to pick you or choose you in any way. So a belief that you won't find that again. So I kind of want to start there, and I kind of want to just bring that to your attention because it's an interesting thing to say. You haven't been getting very much. So in the first sentence, you said that you have been settling for people that are like your dad, who you love but has a problem with alcohol that he's had forever. So you settle, right? So I would take it that your father is probably, if he does struggle with alcohol, that's a pretty big issue, right? Because as much as you wanted him to be there for you, and as much as you do love him, the alcohol comes first. That's how addicts are. Any addict, the alcohol comes first over everything, over themselves, over their family, over their daughters, over their sons, over everything. That's just how it is. So this guy is kind of doing the same thing. Everything else is coming first before you. So I just want you to reflect on that he's probably hitting on that wound that you have from your father. And now I really want to dive into this because you put him on a pedestal. So what that tells me is that something within you, and really your inner child, is identifying him as being somehow similar to your father. And this is an unconscious process. I don't know exactly what it is because I don't know the ins and outs of this situation. But this is an unconscious process. And your little girl inside of you is identifying that he is somehow like your father in some way. But there is a hope there that if he picks you and chooses you, that you are actually going to heal the wound that you have with your dad for not picking you and not choosing you. Because again, as an alcoholic, he is somebody who chose alcohol over you. So this is kind of complex because logically in our minds, we become adults. We see our parents differently. We see our parents as okay, he has an alcohol problem. I logically understand, consciously, I understand that he could not be there for me. And, my father, I understand he is very emotionally unavailable. Okay. So I have accepted that he is an emotionally unavailable person, that he is never going to be able to provide me with the love that I really want from a father. And that's okay. My adult self has made peace with that. My adult self made peace with that a long time ago. I get it. I accept him for who he is. And I still had to heal my inner child. And this is the work that needs to be done here with you, because your inner child is kind of waiting for her dad, waiting for daddy to come around, waiting for him to just love her, to just choose her, to just pick her. She wants to be chosen. She wants to be loved. She wants daddy to say, no, you matter more than everybody else. It's you. So I want you to notice the parallel that you've established with this other guy who, again, he probably just triggered something within your subconscious, that your subconscious was picking up some sort of familiarity, and familiarity is safety to our brain, so it feels good, right? So your subconscious picked up that he was familiar, he was safe in some way, so I'm going to attach on to him. And what happens is when we have these wounds, our subconscious will try to seek out partners where we can bring these wounds to completion. Because the belief under there is if this guy chooses me, then it's kind of like daddy choosing me, and that actually heals the inner child. And so if your inner child has latched on to this guy as being the one that's going to solve this problem, that's going to just let her feel the love that she's really craving, finally be chosen, well, it kind of makes sense that you're not really able to let him go, because your inner child wants to heal. She wants to feel that love. She wants to feel like I matter. And This goes for kind of any time if you are ever in relationships where you feel like, I don't understand why I want this person to choose me so badly, but it has to be them and there's something about them and it really doesn't logically make sense. Because again, in this case, like he's not really doing much for you. He might have had one time done something for you, but you're holding on to that for 4 years. It doesn't make logical sense. And the reason it doesn't make logical sense is because it's your subconscious taking over and your inner child wound taking over. So the work starts with doing some deep inner child stuff, with really working to heal that wound, to choose yourself and to continually choose yourself, to start putting yourself and your needs first and showing your inner child that she doesn't need dad to choose her. She doesn't need this guy to choose her. You choose yourself. And you start putting a higher sense of value and worth on yourself. This is really where the work needs to start. And it goes deeper and further into there. I have dealt with this wound on a number of different levels between myself and within my private client work. It's something that we hit on in the Heal, Rise, Thrive program. So if you can get into deeper work with me, I do highly recommend it, because this is something that you need to release from your subconscious to be able to really move forward in a whole and complete way. Because as you're showing up in your life right now, it's almost like, I need this other person to complete me. I need this other person to validate me. If he picks me, everything will be great. And that's a dangerous belief to have. We need to turn that around to, you choose you. You are already whole and complete and lovable on your own. And you don't need anybody else to do that for you. And we have to do that on a subconscious level, so that you can bring this wound to completion and start showing up for yourself in a new way. Because the other side of that is that even if you were able to, let's say, let this guy go, and you understand consciously, oh, he's just not the one for me. He doesn't, show me the attention that I want. He doesn't do this. And you come to that level consciously, but subconsciously, your inner child is still trying to work out that wound, still trying to work out this whole, daddy didn't choose me, daddy didn't love me, daddy didn't show up for me the way that I really needed him to. So the work starts there. And I feel for you, because I definitely have had to dig into that wound myself, and it's painful and it hurts, but on the other side is such a beautiful feeling of completion. And that's really what I want you to feel, whole and complete and lovable on your own. So I'm sending you so, so much love. And if you are somebody who's in a similar situation and this spoke to you, I'm so very grateful. Take a screenshot. Let me know that you are listening. You can tag me on Instagram at Miss kellykristin. Please, if you know somebody that needs to hear this, that might be dealing with something similar, I'd be so grateful if you could send them the show. It just helps me so much. And I get so excited to know that you all are sharing this information, because it's really life-changing. And I am sending you all love and healing vibes. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you soon.